Welcome back to Destructive News, everyone. News, no matter how destructive. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Destructive News. And we're going to take a look at a story in Detroit. Not because this is some crazy situation. Well, it is. I mean, a man lost his life seemingly for no reason at all. Or maybe there is a reason. But I wanted to focus on the people. Let's take a look. Breaking. A man shot dead while in his car on Outer Drive near Myers across the street from his home. The investigation is continuing. Let's watch the video. It's kind of raw Twitter video here.
The man in that Mercedes was shot. He's in the car. Neighbors in this area here, 7 Mile Outer Drive area, can't believe it. They tell me that he was a good guy, family man in his 50s. Now you see the Detroit police out here. Neighbors are coming out and just can't.
So this is a black community. It seems to be older black community. Lots of men, which is always a good sign.
Backing out of the driveway or just coming in to.
Looks to be an open neighborhood.
He lives in the yellow house, neighbors tell me, and that's what's going on here.
Yeah, let's take a look at the actual news report though. Here, we have a video.
What happened?
I'm not sure what happened here
Bags on
today.
their heads. I don't know who these people are, but we got a bag head here. I'm not sure what car that is. It's a Mercedes Benz. It's nice. It's newer. It's definitely like a 2015 and up. I don't think it's an S class though. It's either a C or an E, like a high trim C, like a C350 or something like that, or an E class, like an E, E300, E400. I think they do 400s, 450s.
What happened?
It's a nice car.
I'm not sure what happened.
Weave heads, glue heads, drinking that Dasani water. Tastes like the water that come out of a hose in the 80s. I don't know what she's got on. Tight fitting. They all got tight fitting clothes on. I don't get it.
Here today, Charlie.
Here is Outer Drive near Myers on the west side. Please find a man slumped over the wheel of.
So it's definitely not an S class, but I don't think it's a C300 either. I think it's an E class. So it's a nice vehicle. It's a pricey vehicle. More black people, more black folks. So this is a black community. It seems to be more humble. There's a lot of older men, which is something you typically don't see in the bad black communities that we cover.
Of his car, shot dead right in front of his house.
So that is his house.
This is very weird.
So what's really weird are the people.
She's right, because 55-year-old Carl Lockridge, known to many as a Lock, didn't seem to bother anybody.
A Lock.
He was nice
A 50-something-year-old man, his name is a Lock. Interesting.
to everybody. He didn't do anything to nobody. I don't know what happened.
He did nothing. He ain't did nothing. I mean, unless it's mistaken identity, someone definitely hit this man up. This was personal. He shot him in the head in his car as he bagged out of the driveway. I don't think they took anything to make the police believe that it was a robbery attempt or anything like that. I think this is personal. And they say that his son killed like 2 people in another shooting in another city, I think, like last year.
I love him to death. He got a very big family. We're all out here.
Detroit police say that at 6:30 Thursday morning, Locke was pulling out of his driveway when a homeowner heard shots and then saw Locke's Mercedes in the middle of Outer Drive.
Jeez,
My cousin
the way they towing that Mercedes is just tragic.
On his way to work at 6:30 this morning, and as he was bagging out the driveway, someone shot him in the head.
I can't think of anybody that would have wanted to do this to him. Can you?
I couldn't. It's unbelievable.
Did she get dressed to do this interview? Because I find it hard to believe that she's just sitting around with this helmet on her head and this tight-fitting dress that she has.
Locke was a longtime employee for the Wayne County Road Commission, and as the morning went on, more family and more friends gathered in front of his home.
They need to go under deep investigation here.
It appears Carl's son, with the same name, was charged with shooting 2 people in Lansing in November 2021. That Carl is in custody.
He got a few problems with his family and stuff like that, but
Oh, he said he has a few, even the, one of the neighbors said he had a few problems with his family. So it leads me to believe that it's not just the son in that one incident, that he's just got, he's got a ratchet family maybe. I don't know. This is all speculation, but I can sit here and tell you some things that stand out to me. One, black community, although not as savage as most of the communities that we typically report on, still a black community with mostly black people in it. What do you find in these communities? Lots of violence, lots of illegal dealings. Not to say that other communities don't have illegal dealings, but they don't typically have that calling card that we are very familiar with here. You might not be familiar with it, but we'll sniff it out. We'll get to the bottom of everything. The Mercedes-Benz really strikes me as odd, given that the house, let's take a look at the neighborhood. That's the Mercedes right there. And there's another there that looks to be an Infiniti of some sort. That's the house. It's an older house. I looked up the details on it. It was last sold, as far as tax sale records go, 2008. So that guys must have lived there for a long time, or they're renting the house from someone. It looks to be in pretty bad shape. Doesn't look like things are really been updated. The one thing I can say positively about it is that the landscaping is held to a standard higher than houses you typically see in this region of the country. Great Lakes region. We're in Detroit here, people. Looks like the hedges are trimmed. They look good, uniform. There's edging. Hey, looks good. There's looks like mulch. I think that's mulch and not leaves, but looks like there's some discoloration in the brick. The door looks terrible, and I understand doors are really expensive. It looks like the awning here is like falling. It's like it's about to fall down. There's discoloration. This house isn't really maintained. The blinds, they're really old and discolored. It looks to be like plastic is on the windows. That's what it looks like. Could be a reflection, but looks like there's seal issues. There's weathering issues. But other than that, and there's no covering. You have this Mercedes-Benz, and I'm not saying it's a brand new Mercedes-Benz, but it's not a cheap vehicle. There's lots of access to the property. You can get to it from the side here. There's another gentleman there. There's mostly black people in this neighborhood. Yeah, looks like they're building a fence here. There's no fence there yet. My thing is, are there cameras? Is that a camera? What can we do? Are there cameras back here? Is there any cameras? Are there any Ring doorbell cameras here that might have caught the angle of him pulling the vehicle out of the driveway? Is there traffic cameras on this block? Doesn't appear to be at first glance any traffic cameras or anything like that. Looks like the community's got some roll through for the police. What about over here? Are there any Ring doorbell cameras that can see? Because he got shot pulling out, so it was wide open. This is a wide street. There's a lot going on here. This is a trafficked street. I'm sure there's witnesses. I am sure there's witnesses. But we need cameras. Why doesn't anybody have cameras? Where are the Ring doorbell cameras? You got to tell me. You got to be kidding me. I don't believe that people in this neighborhood don't have Ring doorbell cameras. That's silly. I feel like they'd have to be really, really unlucky. And when I say they, I'm talking about the police. They'd have to be really unlucky to not be able to pull or utilize the technology. Like, there's so much access. There's from the front, from the side, the rear, from that direction. There's a building here. There could be a camera there, or there are cameras on their house. Like, what's going on here? But yeah, the people are really weird, really low IQ sounding to me. The neighborhood doesn't seem to be all that bad in the grand scheme, but it's definitely an older neighborhood, and it's heavily populated by black folks. As you can see, just driving down the road, lots of RNVs, That busted up Ford Focus, that's a RNV. The Chevy, what's that? A Chevy Lumina, look, that's a RNV. The Chrysler 300, RNV. but just looks like, you know, a predominantly black, blue collar neighborhood. I hope that they can figure out what's going on with this, and hopefully it didn't have anything to do with that son and his shooting, but it's hard for me to sit here and ignore that. And I know people were talking about it in the comment sections here. The caption of the video has me questioning the education level of the people reporting news these days. It's a really weird news network, a really weird interviewer, news reporter, just weird. I attribute that to, you know, Great Lakes region, that kind of deal. But very, very weird. And is this another video? Yeah, this is it. Let's check out this video, see if they have any different details in it for us. Let's make sure we get past this. Dang ad. They frying up some chicken, man.
Driveway about to head to work, and that's when someone...
So there's conflicting stories. There's stories saying that he's going to work. There's other stories saying that he was going to the doctor. We need to get the facts.
55-year-old Carl Lockridge. The fatal shooting happened this morning on West Outer Drive and Myers Road on the west side. Detroit police now working to find answers. 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell spoke to people who knew and loved the man described as a public servant.
As I spoke to family and friends gathered outside the home, a little girl spoke up. She said she wanted me to tell you that the man who died was a really good grandpa, and he always made her feel loved. This was the scene this morning on Outer Drive near Myers after a shooting that Detroit police said happened around 6:30 this morning. Someone shot a man in his own car in his driveway. The car then backed onto the median. People who know him say the victim is 55-year-old Carl Lockridge.
Right now, I'm just very upset and sad that they took his life.
It's crazy, man.
Because he was a good person. He was well loved.
Air hat behind her.
He was a good man. He took care of his family, his kids, and he took care of his wife.
Laretha Wood says she and Carl have an adult son together. She says they remained friends through the years, and she spoke to him yesterday. He had talked about an argument he had with someone, but she says he wasn't the type to make trouble. He worked and cared for family.
He retired from Wayne County Roads, and then he went on to just work for the city.
Okay.
Because he was, too young to, get his pension.
Police this afternoon responded to his house to break up arguments between loved ones. Emotions are high as police search for answers as to what happened.
I just hope they find the person that did this to him, because he didn't deserve it. Yeah. He didn't deserve it.
Detroit police tell me at this point in time they don't have any suspects in custody. If you have information that could help in this investigation, they're asking you to give them a call. In Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Kim Russell. Well, I don't know. It's sad. It is really sad. But, I don't unless it's a mistaken identity, I just don't see how it's not connected to his son. Could be family members. I mean, he has a nice Mercedes-Benz. Like I said, his house last sold in 2008 for like $80,000. Now it's supposedly worth about $200,000. I think you can contribute that to a majority of the country, to this crazy economy that we're having, runaway economy with all this inflation. Caused by our government doing what they're doing, inflating the economy. So his house is worth a lot of money in the current market, but everybody's house is worth a lot of money in the current market. So I don't know. There's so many things that could have led to, what happened to this man. And it's just really sad that, he working guy seems to be, worked for the city, retired, and now just kind of works for the city in another role of some sorts. But yeah, it's really, really unfortunate. I feel like this case shouldn't be that difficult to solve. I bet it'll take some time and a lot of work. Hopefully the police department has the resources to give this a fair shake and figure out what happened. But like this guy just said, none of those houses have cameras. Hard to believe. Exactly. These houses don't have Ring doorbells. I mean, Ring doorbells are really cheap. I don't understand. Take back the streets. People, get rid of them. Get rid of them all trigger happy gangs. Is there gangs in that neighborhood? I put typical. 95% of all these videos all have the same thing in common. I wonder what he's getting at. I can take a guess, but Guns, guns, bang, bang, bang. America love their guns far too much. I don't know what this has to do with America loving guns. You're just silly. Detroit is hell. I can believe that. Where's Black Lives Matter? They're not anywhere around this. Black Lives Matter is about getting that money and moving on to the white community and getting out of the ghetto. That's what they're about. The toilet. Wait, you mean in a Democrat-run city? I'm shocked. Sad that this continues to happen. Every Democrat-run city. Oh, man. I need to worry about what happened on January 6th. That's not black people need to be wary of. What happened on January 6th? Gas prices were low. Okay. I like this. Of course, Israelites, they're everywhere. Well, we won't keep you too long. I just wanted to get into this case and see what was going on. It's just really crazy. Really crazy. Well, thank you again checking out the channel. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.